So here we have an Aruba wireless access point that is ceiling mounted. And today we will be measuring the RF radiation emissions from it. I have my Cornet electrosmog meter here. And as you can see, we're already getting levels that are quite high from this unit. Up to 20, 30 we're seeing milliwatts per square meter. And this is at about a foot away from the wireless access point itself. Now if we move this closer to the wireless access point, then it's a little bit difficult to see, but every couple seconds it is spiking and actually going into the hundreds. So we wait a second here, so that was 325 there. Now there's nothing in this immediate vicinity connected to it. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's idle because it's part of the network, obviously, so there could be other clients on this particular unit. There's nothing in this room specifically. So the actual levels, if there were active clients nearby, you would expect to be higher. But this is just on standby. Maybe there are clients, maybe there aren't. But at the unit itself, we have levels of a couple hundred milliwatts per square meter. Now, in reality, you might be sitting with your head right smack dab against it. But still, the levels are quite high, even as we come down away from the access point. So this is about between 1 and 2 feet, and it's regularly getting to levels of 10 milliwatts per square meter or so. And if I sit down now in this chair, which is sitting on the ground, and this is so where someone would be working, and we're getting levels consistently about a few milliwatts per square meter. Now anything over 1 is considered extremely dangerous. From a building biology health perspective. Obviously those levels are exceeded all the time, as we can see here, and these are well within FCC so-called guidelines. But we can see that this is pretty high exposure just from a wireless access point. We don't have any other wireless devices that are sitting right here. And so it seems innocuous. It's just something that's sitting up there on the ceiling, and you probably wouldn't think twice about it if it was in your working space or your living space or whatever. But it's not some innocuous thing. It is actively doing harm, and it's important to be aware of your surroundings. And it's always good to have an EMF meter with you so that you can measure the radiation levels wherever you are, and that way you can take steps to eliminate these hazards and at least have a safer workspace wherever you are. So I've turned the audio on now, just as a helpful comparison. But again, these are the levels, sitting at a workstation underneath the wireless access point. Now, of course, the alternative here is obvious. Ethernet cables are faster and just better in all respects anyways for computers. So what we can do here, and we'll keep the sound on here, but again, as you can see, levels that are getting into the hundreds. So just in this last minute or so, and really just about right now. So right there on the bottom is the peak level that it's measured so far, which is 428. Okay, and I just maxed out the meter. That's what happens when you see 1827, it maxes out the meter. There's so much radiation that it is beyond what this can measure. In reality, if you're measuring that either get the heck out of there or get this the heck out of there, which is what we're going to do. So if we go ahead and unplug this, okay. So you still hear the noise, and that's because this is not, it's not, you know, it's not no RF noise. There is all kinds of radiation, you know, from all directions, from all over the place. This is in a high-rise building here, so that's kind of what you would expect. But the actual levels themselves, if you look at it, drop down now right here to about 0.01, which under 0.01 is really what you want. You know, if you can get under that, that's you know, the lower the better. But below 0.01 is a good place to start. And as soon as we unplug this wireless access point that we don't need here, that we don't want here, we get to under 0.01 milliwatts per square meter. And we're not seeing any of those spikes that we were seeing before either. So if we come back down now and sit down, and we don't really see any significant change because, again, there's no active RF transmitters immediately right here. Now, of course, the stuff that you hear is all kinds of, you know, stuff. There could be, you know, Bluetooth devices, obviously, mobile phones, probably plenty of those in the vicinity, and so it's picking it up from all different places throughout the building. But immediately right here, you can notice that there's a huge difference just from unplugging that wireless access point. So, again, they're not, you know, small things that don't make a difference. It really can make a difference. Just unplugging even one device like that can make a huge change in how healthy your workspace is. So it's very easy to take steps to make those improvements.